I've spent hundreds of hours analyzing sales funnels from some of the top coaches and gurus out there while working with multiple 5 and 6 figure entrepreneurs to get them results like this, and many more across every single niche and vertical you could possibly think of. And you might be thinking, Kamil, how the fuck do you do all of this? Well, it's all because of the operating system I've been able to run my business with. And that is exactly what this board is. The content optimization, the market research, the offer creation, the funnel creation, the launch preparation, the sales and pre-call flow, the onboarding and fulfillment, the scaling, every single thing from A to Z that you would need to scale any info coaching business to over $100,000 a month. So if you don't have the attention span of a goldfish and you watch until the end of this board, you're going to learn exactly how to optimize your content to become the expert in your market, the story sequence strategy that can 2x your business in 7 days, how to build an offer that practically closes itself, the exact scaling strategy for when you're ready to grow past what organic can do, and a brain dead strategy to book 10 qualified high-ticket calls in the next 72 hours, starting right now. Let's start off with the content optimization. So each platform has their own specific role. Obviously, TikTok is views, Instagram is for conversions, and YouTube is for nurture. Now, YouTube and Instagram in their own specific jobs are extremely different, so we're going to break them down separately. I'll get into Instagram first. Instagram is the conversion machine within any funnel. You always want to, whenever somebody comes into Instagram, right? You always want them to go through your content, your profile, become a follower, and then go ahead and become a story viewer. And you might be wondering, why don't we just send them straight over to YouTube once they become once they go to my profile or become a follower? Or why do I have to wait until they are a story viewer? Well, it's mainly because of Instagram's specific features. And one of those is story sequences. It's the same thing that guys like Eddie Cumberbatch or Jordan Brown or Cardinal Mason are using to hit hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. All of them are running story sequences. Every single person above 10K a month is. But why? Because they let you tap into a list of people, not your email list, that know you, consume your content on a daily basis, already believe in what you sell, have already gone through the value funnel, getting them to know, like, and trust you, and then finally go for the sale, and are ready to throw thousands of dollars at you at this very moment. Your IG story viewers. Because think about it, right? Your story viewers followed you. They went through the whole value funnel to get there. That is why they're there watching your stories. But there's a problem. Good story sequences are really, really hard to make. So here's a simple strategy to make story sequences that convert every single time. The basic structure of every story sequence is split into about 4 parts. Number 1 is the hook, a big announcement and a big pattern interrupt. Then there's the story, which is the main meat of the sequence and the reason for you actually posting it. And then there's proof, which is results, screenshots, and social proof. Now, the first 3 slides are always building a shit ton of hype. Once you've built that hype, at the end, you're able to cash out on that using a CTA with a DM keyword or a link or a calendar. And I'll give an example for exactly what a good story sequence looked like at the end of this section as well. But the main mistake that a lot of people will do is treating your stories like a value delivery channel. Stories are not for giving more free content. Your Reels do that. Your YouTube does that. Stories are specifically for selling that audience and converting them. But there's another problem that a lot of people will face, which is audience burnout. So the way you fix audience burnout is simply by posting 4 story sequences per month max with unlimited lifestyle content. While on your clipping page, you just post low-key story sequences every 2 to 3 days. Now, lifestyle content, just as an example, this is something that even Iman does. And this is just in this day, he's posted 10 stories that are just lifestyle, along with a separate video as well. That's crazy. Guys like Iman are posting this many lifestyle sequences because he's able to increase his cadence of story sequences and warm his audience up before hitting them with another CTA. Because think about it. If every single time you hop on somebody's story, you look at their story, they're always trying to sell you something. Why the hell would you ever come onto their story again? It wouldn't make any sense for you. So you'd want something in between there to keep these people warm. That's why 4 sequences per month with infinite lifestyle is the perfect mix. And here's an example from Iman for what a good story sequence actually looks like as well. So he starts off by saying, I haven't been completely honest with you. For months now, I've been watching something unfold. I've kept quiet about it. And I decided to keep it a secret until I had my hands on actual proof, which just got in, blah, blah, blah. 4 months ago, I got these results, right? And as you can see, this is all building hype at the beginning. This is his big announcement right here. This is the first section, right? This is the hook. After that, he gets into the proof, which is right here as well. And this is all building even more hype until the final CTA right here. It's all following the same system. It's just that he used a separate number of stories. You can stretch this system to do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stories. It's just that you have to keep the essence of the sequence intact, right? And on top of that, here's some extra sauce as well, which is close friend stories. Now you can triple your story views by moving to close friends. If you ever see that green bubble around somebody's story, that means that they've added you to their close friends list. And if you knew what that meant, you'd probably be feeling pretty special. But it's actually that they have some guy on the back end, a VA usually, paying them about $1,000 a month to go ahead and manage that and add everybody to their close friends. And the reason they do this is because you can post a single close friend story per month for a really big CTA or for a very big announcement. And that allows you to hit 3 times more viewers, which obviously will result in about 3 times more conversions. Obviously, the catch is that it usually runs around $1,000 a month if you're paying someone to manage it. But if you work with us and me and my team, you get it included. If you don't have the budget yet though, start with normal story sequences first, get the initial cash, and then invest straight into this. So obviously now that we understand what to do on IG, once somebody becomes a follower and a story viewer, they're gonna go over to our YouTube. So you wanna further nurture everybody that comes in from IG and TikTok using what I call the KLT framework, which is that you always wanna get people to know you, like you, and trust you. And YouTube is the best at getting people to like and trust you. The reason is because it has massive videos. This is a video from Hormozy that's about 7 hours long. And this allows you to get so much nurturing in, it's not even funny. And the reason, by the way, the main science behind nurturing is really something called the 7-11-4 rule. And this was a study done by Google where they found that a prospect needs to consume 7 hours of your content across 11 different touch points across 4 different locations to actually want to buy one of your products. So a person watching a single one of Hormozy's 7-hour videos instantly fulfills the most important part of this rule. That's how powerful YouTube is. Now, obviously, the average YouTube video will be 30 minutes to an hour, but the point still stands. Is it easier for you to get somebody to watch 1 hour-long YouTube video or 60 of your Instagram Reels? Pretty self-explanatory, right? You'd obviously want them to be on the YouTube. Now, somebody who does YouTube really, really well is William Brown. You always want to keep this as simple as possible. And you'll see that he has the simplest thumbnails physically possible, the most basic titles physically possible. And he's so raw and authentic. At the same time, he's getting these huge view numbers. And you might be wondering, how the hell are these guys doing it? It's the same thing that TJR is doing. And it all relies on one thing called the Juxter effect. You see William's thumbnails and you see his titles, and you instantly basically make a judgment about him, which is that he's probably bullshitting. He probably doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. But at the same time, you want to reinforce that specific thought in your mind. That's why you click on the video, because you want to reinforce your chain of thought, right? You obviously want to do that. You'll be like, okay, I want to click on this video, and I'll click off within a few seconds once I know that he's obviously not really giving away any value. But the most important part of the Juxter effect is that that hook right there has to instantly show you as a credible source of information. So what William does is he starts off by saying that he sold a company for $70 million. Instantly, your attention is hooked on him because he's broken your belief. And this is the fastest way to break that belief. He broke your belief that he was lying about this, right? He broke your belief that he was just spewing bullshit. And now you want to give him some of your time so that you can learn, how the hell did this guy do this? Then obviously you're going to be positively reinforced for watching one of William's videos because you get a ton of value. And once you do get that value, you move over to another one of his videos. And this time you have a ton of respect for him. So no matter how crappy the title is, no matter how crappy the thumbnail is, you still click on that video because you know he's going to give you some sauce. Highly edited pieces of content like this and highly edited thumbnails and all that stuff just don't work anymore. You need to keep it as simple as physically possible. You know, keep it simple, stupid, right? That quote. And another reason that William uses the super raw and authentic and super low effort thumbnails and titles is because he also wants to only speak to his ICP. He always wants to add as much friction as physically possible within his funnel. So when someone lands on his video and actually watches it, they're already the right person. They're already warm. They're already interested in that specific topic, because nobody who is uninterested in that topic is going to watch something like that. There's no entertainment value in what William is saying in the format that he's saying it. It's only going to be people that are genuinely interested in his stuff that are going to be watching it. And William himself stated, by the way, that he would get per 600 views, he would get 1 client closed, which means he probably made a metric ton of money off of this video. You can do the math, right? 600 views, 1 client, that would mean if you wanted to get to 10K a month and you have a $5,000 offer, all you would need is 1 video to hit 1.2 thousand views. And to make it even easier, you could just get 6 videos that hit 200 views. And that's a pretty normal metric within this space if you're doing raw and authentic videos like that right. So your goal on YouTube is deeper nurture with the right people. Longer content performs better, value over everything, and fancy editing obviously stopped mattering. But how do you actually get into posting that content? What is the content cadence that you really want to go for? Well, it all is based off of the 222 content framework. And you can start off with this as a baseline. The 222 content framework basically hinges on the fact that the buyer's journey goes as follows. They first watch top of funnel content, then they watch your middle of funnel content, then they watch your bottom of funnel content. Top of funnel content is stuff like lifestyle content, like Iman Gaji's unscripted account, or Brez Scales, Mansory G-Wagon, or huge expensive car videos. These get a ton of eyeballs, but 99% of them are very, very, very unqualified leads. Then there's the middle of funnel content, and you'll notice that the views are going down as we go down this kind of buyer's journey, because middle of funnel content, bottom of funnel content, they get much less views than the top of funnel content. But middle of funnel content is like full course type videos, something like this. It's zeroed in on your specific niche, and it is a video that gives genuine value to those people that are interested in getting into your business model, or getting into fitness, or getting into whatever you sell. So obviously this stuff is going to get much less views than the alternative top of funnel content, but the leads are going to be so much more nurtured and much higher quality. Then there's bottom of funnel, which is super in-depth, nitty-gritty videos that are super raw and authentic usually. They're raw and authentic that go into extreme depth on a certain part of a business. So for example, Jordan Rafaelov went over Alex Hormozi's cold outreach. Cold outreach is a very specific part of his stuff, which is selling to info owners. And then there's also Kieran. He went into how AI makes $115,000 for his landscaping SMMA clients. You see how niche that is? How niche that specific breakdown is? That's why it makes a bottom of funnel video. You need all three of these, or at least middle of funnel and bottom of funnel, running at the same time. If you skip middle of funnel, people will see you once and forget you exist. If you skip bottom of funnel, you're just going to become an entertainer with absolutely no clients. And on top of that, one more content type that is worth adding to your business is case study content. So you want to film your successful clients, short interviews, post that stuff. This builds the kind of trust that no amount of educational content can ever really replicate. So just to recap, your main goals are to drive traffic through TikTok, then through YouTube, and then in the Instagram pipeline. Use YouTube to nurture your ICP specifically. So run top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel content simultaneously. Post 4 story sequences per month on the main, low-key ones every 2 to 3 days on the clipping page. Tap into your existing story viewer list before going anywhere near cold traffic, and triple your story views by moving to close friends when the budget allows. Which moves us into section number 3, which is market research. So just to put this into perspective, imagine you're a dog owner, right? And I give you this specific cat toy. Now, this is a super popular cat toy. A lot of cats love it, right? You have 99% reviews on Amazon when you sell to cat owners, right? But now I put out this ad and a dog owner sees it. He buys it. What do you think his experience is going to be? Because his dog ain't going to give a shit about a cat toy, obviously. So he's obviously going to leave a bad review. So what I'm saying here is that if you don't have your market research, and you don't know who exactly you're talking to, you're starting from scratch every single time. You're throwing the dice every single time that you talk to your prospects. How you actually do this is going to depend on where you actually are. So under 10,000 followers and over 10,000 followers, or you can convert this into subscribers if you're over 1,000 subscribers or below 1,000 subscribers, you need to go ahead and follow these 2 separate systems. If you're under 10K, you want to go for research calls. You don't have enough of an audience to get clean signal from a forum, so you need to get on the phone with them. And on these research calls, you need to go over their pain points, their desires, their objections, their dream outcome, the language they use, and what they've already tried. You want to go for a single conversation with just someone in your target market, not a sales call. You ask questions and you shut the hell up. 5 to 10 calls in this exact style, and out of every single call, you want to pull out 1, what problem keeps them up at night, 2, what they've already tried that didn't work, number 3, what they actually want the outcome to look like, and number 4, the exact words they use to describe their situation. And you can use this exact document and screenshot it to basically fill out on the call, and then you will have a really well fleshed out market research document and ICP document for yourself. If you're over 10K, obviously you want to go for Typeform because you have enough of an audience to send a form and get enough responses to see actual patterns. So you want to blast this form to your story viewers, DM it to anyone who has ever engaged. You're looking for these patterns, the same answer coming up across 20, 30, 50 responses. Now what you're building towards is to understand the difference between what you think they want and what they actually say, and go ahead and veer towards this side. Right? Use the exact wording that they use, because by the time you're writing the sales page, you're using their words back at them. That is why it actually converts. And an extra thing that you can do if you're over 10K is the people that fill out the form and are super engaged and have a ton to say. So if they fill out, you can have like a description question, like the third question could be a description question where you say, what are some recommendations that you would want to see in the program? If they're super verbose, if they're super in detail, that means that that person has a lot to say. So I'd recommend hopping on 5 calls with people that are like that. Just pick the best form fill outs and then just hop on calls with those people to understand even more in detail what they think you should be doing. And finally, your main goals are to under 10K, do 5 to 10 research calls before building anything. Over 10K, blast a type form to story viewers and DM engagers, look for those patterns and pull exact language from those responses and use it word for word in your offer. Which brings us into number 4. Speaking of offer, it is offer creation. The difference between a bad offer and a good offer is as follows. If you stick this much money into a bad offer, you're going to get this much back. With vice versa on a good offer, this is what's going to happen. And this is not even an exaggeration, especially when we come into paid ads and everything, because you're literally burning money if you have a bad offer. But how do you actually make a good offer? Well, it all kind of comes down to Hormozi's offer framework, and I'm going to cover that at a high level. First of all, on the top, there's a dream outcome x perceived likelihood of achievement. Dream outcome is what exactly they really want, while perceived likelihood achievement is how likely they think they are to get it, how likely they think in their mind that they are to get it. Not how likely they actually are, but how likely you make them think it is. Underneath that, it's divided by time delay, so how long it'll take, multiplied by effort and sacrifice, so how hard it feels. So let me get into a little bit more detail. Step 1 is putting together the components of your offer. Number 1 is the quantifiable end result. So what is the exact result that they can point to? Make it objective, a revenue number on a dashboard, a weight number on a scale. If they cannot measure it, it is not a result. Number 2 is the timeline. You want to decide how long will it take for them to get there. Make this as short as physically possible. The shorter the timeline, the more you can charge for the same thing. Then there's niche. Who exactly are you selling to? You want to pick your niche and stick to it. Do not get distracted and don't get greedy. Quality over quantity. And then there's risk reversal. How much of the risk will you take away from the prospect? Take on as much risk as possible while still protecting yourself. Obviously, don't be an idiot, so that you can sell the same thing more times for more money. And then finally, the most important thing, the USP. Why should they buy from you and not anyone else? By the way, USP means unique selling proposition. Flesh this out as much as physically possible and spend 60% of your time on this minimum. This is the most important component of the offer creation process because this is what separates you from the hordes of other people in your market. This is what makes people want to buy from you, right? Then there's step 2, the offer statement. Now, the offer statement is put together very simply through this framework. I help niche achieve end result in time frame using USP without pain point 1, pain point 2, pain point 3, plus risk reversal. Make sure to spend some good time on this. Decide the exact pain points that your ICP feels, and this will be done way easier if you've already done the market research step over here, right? And then there's the power offer / closing offer. Now, this is a different version of the offer statement that you're actually going to be putting up onto communities and everything like that. This is basically the marketing version of your offer statement. Offer statement is something you use internally just to understand what exactly your offer is, but the power offer and the closing offer is what you really want to use when you're marketing your specific offer. And it'll look something like this. You can go ahead and read through all of this if you'd like. You would usually use a power offer in the situation of a community or a course or some kind of group, for example, a WhatsApp group, when trying to upsell people. But this is also useful in other cases, and I'll get into that in the later sections as well. Now that brings us into product creation. Now this is more of a 4.5 since offer creation and product creation are very related to each other. They basically go hand in hand because you can't have one without the other. So that's why I put them into one kind of subsection. So here are the different kinds of products that you can go for. Whichever one you want to go for is up to you. It really does not make much of a difference. One-on-one, and I'll also give some feedback depending on, which one you want to use depending on where you are. One-on-one is best for when you're beginning, right? 10 to 15 clients, $3,000 to $10,000 ticket. It lasts about 30 to 120 days with weekly one-on-one calls plus text support. It is extremely easy to start because it doesn't require a lot of capital at all. And on top of that, it's also generally much easier to market than anything else. Then there's one-to-many. 10 to 30 clients, $1,000 to $5,000 ticket, 30 to 120 days, weekly group calls with a private group chat and community, pre-recorded foundations, and optional monthly one-on-one calls. This is for when you want to scale from one-on-one. One-to-many is not something you just jump straight into. Then there's Inner Circle, which is 20 to 100 clients, $3,000 to $6,000 weekly group calls with a private community, pre-recorded foundations, and bi-weekly team coaching calls, as well as optional in-person masterminds. I would highly recommend this if you want to start an Inner Circle, because that is what differentiates an Inner Circle from just a random community. Now, by the way, if you want to know how to make the pre-recorded foundations, an easy way to do this is just to start off with an hour or two of course content that kind of covers the most basic stuff within the business that you're kind of talking about, or the mentorship or the business model that you're kind of preaching, or if you're doing fitness or whatever, just the foundations of whatever it is that you are trying to sell to this person. Go over those foundations in an hour or two, and then as you get more and more questions, note those down. And if you get a question more than 5 to 10 times, you can go ahead and record an entire dedicated section for that within your foundations. And over time, your foundations will get to the 5, 10, 20 hour mark, just because there's a lot of content that you generally need to cover. Then there's a course. And for courses, there's infinite clients, $500 to $2,000, lifetime access, optional community backends, 2 to 6 month package with community calls, and obviously iterative refinement over time. I really would never ever recommend a course unless you do the community backend system. And the way this works is that you charge about $2,000 to $6,000 upfront for a 6-month package with the community. So they get community calls, and they basically become a member of the community for 6 months, and they get lifetime access to the course. So once their 6-month community membership expires, they have the option to get a grandfathered price. And so even if any price changes occur, they can stay at that specific price that they paid at the beginning. And so they get an extra discount as well. And then they can basically continue to pay for the community, but they obviously will get the course for life. And the reason that this works really well is because you get a continuity on the back end, and on top of that, you can charge upfront much, much higher, right? Then there's community only, which is infinite clients, $25 to $500 a month, a private community, obviously, with weekly plus monthly group calls. It depends on the price point that you're charging. Over $100 a month should most of the time be weekly. And if it's less than 100, most of the time monthly works. Pre-recorded course modules and mostly behind the scenes content as well. Think of communities like a social media where you need to give away more sauce than normal, like more value than normal. That's the best way to think about them. Now, for hosting of all of these, you can use either School, WAP, Google Meet, or Discord. Now, those are the main 4 things that I recommend, and they have completely different use cases, so I'll be breaking them all down. Now, School is the best for communities because it has a ton of auxiliary features. It's much more predictable and has a very clean landing page. It is also about $100 a month, but if you're charging, $2,000 to $3,000 in coaching, it's really nothing for you. $100 a month is really nothing. Then there's WAP, which is best for course hosting generally. It has a very clean UI, strong support with pre-built apps. It's also really good for you if you want to start just completely free and don't want to put in any money, unlike School. Then there's Google Meet, which you always want to use for group or one-on-one calls. You can also use Zoom for this, but I always prefer Google Meet just because Zoom has a ton of back-end technical issues a lot of the time. For example, if somebody wants to hop on a call, but they don't have Zoom installed, that's going to waste another 20 minutes of your call just getting them to install Zoom and waiting for them, right? And Google Meet is something that is completely online and everybody has a Google account, so they can easily sign up for that. Then there's Discord, which is, of course, you can have a community on Discord. It's completely optional because it also connects to WAP. So you can have the backend community on Discord while you get the payments and everything on WAP, which a lot of people do. Now, this is only really for somebody who is experienced with Discord. If you're somebody who really has a lot of experience with Discord, really likes using Discord, then I would recommend you go for this. But if you're somebody who is not really technical, you don't really want to get into the nitty-gritty of stuff, WAP or School will give you less customization generally, but they will be much easier to implement than connecting Discord and putting together a whole Discord server, right? So it's up to personal preference, basically. Then there's pricing for your offer, and this is pretty self-explanatory. It really has to just go up as you fill up. Number one, you just want to start off by researching competitors, take the average and start right there. If you're under 2K, you just want to up it by $500 every single time you fill up. If you're over 2K, up it by $1,000 each time. And as you scale, just increase more aggressively as demand grows. So if you're at, $8,000, you can increase by $3,000 every single time you fill up. If you're at $15,000, you can increase by $5,000 every single time you fill up. It really does not matter. You just want to scale more aggressively as the demand grows. And a good way to build a little bit of scarcity is at the front page of the community or whatever you really have, right? Mentorship or whatever. You can go ahead and tell them, hey, this is going to be increasing to X amount after we get to X goal. Maybe it's this time, or maybe it's this many members or whatever. And you can also do this within story sequences if you want, if you're doing mentorship. So your main goal in this section is to understand your niche's exact pain points, desires, and language better than they do. Build an offer statement that uses their exact words right back at them. Pick the right product type for where you are right now. Price at the competitor average and increase as you fill up, and know exactly what result you're promising and how fast you are promising it. Right. So that brings us straight into section number 5, which is funnel creation. Now, this is something that a lot of you guys are probably been waiting for. And the main tenet of funnel creation is that fewer qualified leads beats a flood of unqualified ones every single time. Now, at this point, you know exactly who your ICP is, what they want, and what you're selling them. Now you need a system that turns them into educated buyers before they ever get on a call. That system is the funnel. Mess this up and everything else means nothing. Basically, everything that we've done up until this point is meaningless if you mess this up. So just follow this exact strategy to choose the right funnel. So I'm going to be breaking down the 5 main funnels that you will see basically everywhere online right now, because these are the main things that you really want to use if you're going to make any kind of funnel. So number 1 is the webinar funnel. This is hyping up a specific offer with a buy now CTA at the end. It obviously creates urgency around an offer. It has high purchase intent from attendees and can sell higher ticket with the right structure, up to $1,500 with no sales calls. But the problem with it is it is time intensive to run live. The drop off is extremely high if the content doesn't hold attention, and it requires consistent promotion to fill the seats. Now, an example of this would be the Make Money Online challenge from Iman just a little bit ago. And he's currently doing one as well, I believe. Then there's the VSL funnel. It basically has an attention-grabbing headline with a video explaining the product or service. It dives into the pain points and then it ends with a CTA. Then there's a wall of social proof. That's the main basic structure. And a good example of this is Brez's old landing page. There's no limit on lead flow here. It's super time efficient. It's easy to track the metrics, and leads are extremely familiar with it. But the problem with it is that it most of the time has very average conversion rates. It cannot be tailored in real time, and it can't sell offers over $500 without sales calls. Then there's the ebook funnel, which is a simple ebook page with a checkout page. Emails and other funnels basically do the rest. The pros are that it has a very low barrier to entry for the lead. It builds the email list fast and is very easy to produce. But the problem is that there is low purchase intent. It depends heavily on email sequence quality, and the perceived value for the thing itself can be extremely low, which can lower your authority and also just make less people want it. Then there's the community funnel, which is a basic sales page with a community invite page with upsells within the community. The pros are that it builds deep trust before the upsell. It has recurring revenue from the membership, and the community itself becomes the product. But it is a slower path to high ticket revenue. It requires active community management, and upsell conversion depends on the community engagement. Then there's lead magnet funnel with simple landing page with a forum, emails, and the other funnels do the rest. Now this thing gets emails like hotcakes, and emails have a pretty decent conversion rate. It is pretty easy to create, and it is very, very scalable. But there's no instant profits, and it needs upsells to be profitable. It attracts freebie seekers as well. Now, you do not want to just pick a random funnel. You always want to make a calculated decision if you like making money. So you want to ask yourself the following. 1, where's my traffic coming from? Are my leads cold or warm? How transparent am I with what I sell? Can they achieve the initial result alone? Do they have the time to spend? And do they have the money to spend? Now pause the video and answer these questions. Then use the following funnels based on your answers, right? Just go ahead and look through this. YouTube traffic, if you have plenty of spare time. Warm leads, first launch, you can do it alone. Webinar, lead magnet, VSL, or ebook funnels work well for you. If you have IG traffic, not everyone knows you, not pushing a product. Results can be done alone, and there's lots of spare time. Lead magnet or free community funnels work well. And traffic, if you're getting traffic from every platform with no spare time, not everyone knows you, and you have a public product, and it's hard to do alone, VSL, ebook, and lead magnet funnels work pretty well. Now, no best funnel exists. Use the one that works for you. So here's some tools to actually build them as well. I personally use Go High Level with my entire team. It has a CRM and it costs about $100 a month, but it does basically everything. And then there's ClickFunnels. A lot of people like it because it's specialized for funnels. It's also $100 a month. We just find that integration is hell with ClickFunnels. So you can also use that as well, but you'll have to sign up for a lot of other platforms as well. Then there's Webinar Jam, which is useful only for webinars. And so I really wouldn't recommend it for anything else, but for webinars, it works pretty well. So we've made our funnel. We already have our offer. We've done our market research. We've gotten our content absolutely dialed in, but how do we actually launch the specific product? The main thing you need to focus on when launching something is hype, because an excited audience equals more money that they're willing to spend. So if you have a product, stop selling it now. It's take the time to create a huge launch that will break any revenue records you've had before. So every launch relies on something I like to call the hype curve on a high level. On the y-axis, there's hype, and on the x-axis, there's time. So pre-launch is building as much hype as physically possible. And the longer your pre-launch is, the greater the amount of hype. And obviously you will get diminishing returns over time, but generally that is the pattern you'll see. Once you go ahead and drop the launch, then you're going to be able to cash out big. Depending on the amount of hype you have, the greater the hype, the greater the cash. But you'll lose all of that hype over time as long as the launch goes on, but it'll be probably much quicker than the pre-launch, right? So it'll happen very, very quickly. Then you basically just need to repeat this process over and over again. The step one for any successful launch is the pre-launch. And on pre-launch, day one, you want to post up an Instagram reel plus a story. With the YouTube description updates, update every single description to show that you are about to launch something, with story sequences and a Discord and school announcement coming out. All of these should be having a call to action going straight to your email list. Days 2 to 5 should have daily stories, so 2 to 4 lifestyle and 1 to 2 educational, daily educational reels with a CTA, daily emails and WhatsApp reach outs with a CTA, and daily Discord reminders to read those emails. All of these paths should again be having a call to action to your email list. Now for the email sequence itself, it goes as follows. Day 1, put in a test email. So test the list, get responders, tell them to respond X thing. Day 2 should be awareness, make people aware of the launch itself. Day 3 should be some kind of personal story. So a personal journey plus why this. Day 4, case studies and proof. So wins and social proof spam. Day 5, launch email and CTA. So the launch email, the offer, and the CTA. You can use your offer or your power offer for this as well. Then there's the community. So WAP, school, and Discord. Day 1, you want to put out the power offer and the teaser for the product or launch. Day 2, engage with everyone actively, meaning answer people's questions, move them, redirect them to the actual CTAs. And you can get a VA to do this if you are at a higher level. Day 3, final power offer with maximum hype. And then day 4 should be basically engaging with every single post, because this books more calls. Again, you can get a VA to do this. Now for YouTube, day 1, announce it on the community tab. Day 2, schedule a premiere, turn on notifications. And day 3, go live and push traffic straight to the landing page. Step 2 is the launch itself. Now day 1 of the launch, you want to put up a story sequence plus a power offer reel. Then a community closing offer post, as well as email blasts and an undercover YouTube video / VSL. And you want to edit all the bios for every single one of your YouTube videos to go straight to that VSL. Now, obviously, never tell anybody that this is a VSL. Obviously, never tell anybody that this is a VSL, but this is going to be your original premiere. You just want to link this video in every single other video's bio. And this is going to be something similar to what Iman did a while ago with his big $10 million VSL, right? If you know what that is. Then it's going to go straight over to the funnel. All of this should be going to the funnel that we just built. Days 2 to 4, you want to keep on pushing this launch. So story sequences, power offer reels, community closing offer posts, email blasts, and getting the dialer to basically book as many appointments as possible. All again, funneling straight into the existing funnel that we just built. Now, after the launch, redirect people to the funnel and get them on the call. If your offer is less than 10K, just send them to a payment link. Don't overthink it. And I mean that after the call. So if you have a call, you obviously want to get on a sales call with these people, get your closer to close them, and then just send them straight to a payment link if it's 10K or less than 10K. Don't overthink it. Main goals for this is you want to stop selling before the launch, build hype for at least 5 days first, hit every channel simultaneously on launch day, IG, email, community, YouTube, keep engagement high through pre-launch so the audience is primed when the offer drops, and after launch, redirect to the funnel and close. Keep it very, very simple. And speaking of closing them, how exactly are you going to do it? Well, it's going to be done using the sales and the pre-call flow. And the main tenet for this, section number 7, is you want to use every single lead because your job is not done. This is the single biggest bottleneck info businesses face. Why? Because they think the lead is already sold on showing up, buying, being interested, or giving them money, which they are not. So to get the most out of every lead that enters the funnel, follow this exact strategy. So if you already have a sales team, breathe, relax. Take time to review the sales calls, manage KPIs, go through the training, use this information to improve. If not, it's time to create your money-making machine. So at this point, warm leads have scheduled sales calls, but they aren't ready yet. Before they get on the call, they need to be as educated as physically possible. You want to pre-handle their objections before they even open their mouth. And the way you do this is through pre-call assets. So what to send them is the pre-call assets, which are going to be pre-call VSL, a frequently asked questions list, explanation videos, student interviews, wins, spam as many as you have. If you have hundreds, show hundreds, your journey and how you got your result. Now for the frequently asked questions and everything else, better to do it as a video because a video is just far more engaging and far more likely for them to go through the entirety of it compared to writing or images. But if you go ahead and do a video for all of these, it's going to be the most effective. But at least for the FAQs or the wins and the journey, you can go ahead and use screenshots or text. But again, I would recommend as many of these to be videos as possible. Obviously, wins are most of the time going to be screenshots for a lot of you guys, so that's fine. But for everything else, a video performs much, much better. Then you need to go ahead and put them into the pre-call system. Now, there's 3 sections to this: the manual, the automated, and the no-show path. So we'll get into manual first, and I'll kind of break down exactly what you need to do from step to step. Manual is max 30 minutes after booking. You want to call them to qualify and to confirm the lead. Then you want to send the VSL via DM. For the automated reminder sequence, immediately after the booking, redirect to pre-call assets and send them a confirmation email. Now, you can do this through a confirmation page, which is what we do most of the time. Now, the pre-call assets that you want to have here is going to be the pre-call VSL and the frequently asked questions, as well as an explanation video if you would like. A few student interviews do not hurt either, and as well as some wins. So basically almost all of these. Then obviously the pre-call send the VSL via DM. This VSL is going to be your journey and how you got the result, and it should be kind of a mix between these two, right? So it should have both of these, the pre-call VSL as well as your journey, right? There should be 2 versions. Now, after that, 48 hours before, you want to send them an email and testimonial as well as text them. 24 hours before, send them an email, a testimonial, and then text them again. 12 hours before, email, testimonial, text, and again and again and again, all the way right before the call with a call link. Now, 3 hours before should be the first DM reminder. 1 hour before, a second DM reminder. 15 minutes before, third DM reminder, and 5 minutes before, send a call link via DM. The reason you want to do this only 3 hours before is because you don't want to be annoying and get them to mute you or ignore you. And of course, the closer and the setter have to keep their authority as high as possible. Then, if they no-show at any point throughout this, or obviously didn't book a call, or didn't show up for the call, then day 1, you want to send them a value email plus a call. Day 2, call to action email. Day 3, testimonial email. Day 4, call to action email. Day 5, your transformation email, so your story behind it. Day 6, call to action email. And by the way, the call to action emails should be just wins plus some copy to tell them that they are missing out, and then finally tell them to go ahead and go to this link to book a call. And then wait 24 hours. This is the only manual step for the no-show sequence. You always want to wait 24 hours before they had left the call. And obviously your closer should be following up like 5 to 15 minutes after the call and asking them where the hell they went on text, but they shouldn't be wasting any more time than that. Automatically, there should be a dialer on deck 24 hours after they no-show. They should be dialing everybody related here. If there's no response, they should text and then dial again 4 times over the next 4 days. So the next business week is going to be dialing every single day. Then if they're booked, you can move them back into the center spine. And of course, if they tell you to shut up, stop dialing them. And you want to track everything, just because if you track everything, then you're able to improve as fast as physically possible. So you want to track calls booked, pre-call assets consumed, show up rate, closing rate, AOV, funnel conversion rate, dials made, follow-up sent. And if closing rate is low, obviously review sales calls. If no bookings, look at the traffic. If the show up rate is low, improve the pre-call assets. Your main goals here is to build the automated reminder sequence so no lead goes cold before booking and call. Track every KPI in a spreadsheet. If something's broken, the data will show you where. Never waste a lead, because if they didn't book, they go into the 7-day email sequence. And finally, that moves us into onboarding and fulfillment, which is how to not be a scammer. Section 8 is all about making everybody feel special. Every single client should experience an effortless entry into your program, get value immediately, and feel part of something bigger. You want to invest into a client success manager or take the time yourself to welcome every single person in. Now, when the call closes, the moment the payment is collected, an automation as well as manual steps should be kicking in right away. Once the payment is collected, an onboarding email should be sent with a video plus the first call link. Access to the community, inner circle, or course or whatever should be granted, and automated videos should be sent with the next steps and first actions. Now, obviously, access would be to everything that they should have access to, including the mentorship, the course, whatever it might be, as well as the call links and everything if it's purely mentorship. But manually, you want to send a personal message to confirm the first call. 3 hours before the first call, send them another manual reminder. And 1 to 2 days after the close, you want to set everything up on the back end for this person and schedule a second call. Then there's the onboarding call, which is going to walk them through what the journey looks like, understand where they are and where they want to go, build a roadmap with them towards their desired outcome, set expectations clearly, what they'll get, how it works, what's expected, give them their first 10 steps, schedule the second call before you hang up as well, of course. Now for fulfillment tracking, for every single client, you want to track payment plan status, progress toward result, calls completed, service provided, current struggles, and all the wins. This gives you a live overview of every client's journey. You know who's winning, who's stuck, and what's working. When clients feel like you're on top of their progress, they genuinely refer people. So you can do this through Notion, or what we do is we use Obsidian. And speaking of referrals, the average client has 1 to 3 people they can refer. If an offer is $3K, 3 referrals means $9,000 in revenue from one client after 6 months, which means $1.5 thousand a month from a single client extra. This is how people with 20,000 followers are doing $100,000 a month. The whole process is dialed in, including referrals. So again, there's a reason you want to get these crazy results for these people. So you want to make the first 48 hours feel effortless, automate access in the onboarding video, book the first call fast. That's the main goals for here. Build a client tracking spreadsheet before you take on your second client. Stay on top of every client's progress. They will feel it, and they will refer people and get results. The more results, the more case studies, the more trust, and the more money in your bank account. And finally, that brings us to scaling. So when you're at 10 to 30K a month, it's time to scale, but first you need to be extremely clear on the goal. Do you want to grow massively or just get a few more clients every single month? There's 2 routes. Route 1 is paid traffic. Ads are very simple. Don't overcomplicate them. Test a few creatives with a limited budget. See what performs and build content with this exact structure. Hook, make a promise. Info, deliver the promise. And CTA, get them into the funnel. The hook and the phrase right after it are the most important parts. The more interesting you sound, the better the ad performs. Test different hooks and angles. That is the secret to ads. And by the way, your organic launch already told you what hooks work, so you don't need to overcomplicate this at all. When you do an organic launch and collect 10 to 20K, you already know what angles convert. Take those into ads. And finally, only transition into ads when you're at 50K a month already. Route 2 is organic scaling. Start doing a viral top of funnel content on every single platform. Day in the lives, lifestyle, aspirational content. Your only goal is to go as viral as possible and get people to know you. But this only does work for bigger niches. So dropshipping, SMMA, client acquisition, e-com. These are broad enough for top of funnel to work. But if you're in a smaller niche, skip top of funnel, stay on middle and bottom of funnel content. You want to go niche or go home. I highly recommend staying on middle and bottom of funnel, even if you're on the bigger niches, because top of funnel content will get you really shitty leads, and that'll make you have to do more work later in the funnel. But for fastest scaling, top of funnel content is going to get you there. On top of that, be yourself. Authenticity is what attracts the right clients and filters out the wrong one. All in all, define the goal, build the systems, expand. Right? Here are your main goals for this specific section. That's the full breakdown of how we're able to scale clients to over $50,000 to $100,000 per month in info. And this is going to get you probably to 10 to 20K per month. But if you're somebody at 10 to 20K per month right now, or even just beginning, you don't even have your market research yet or anything like that, and you want our help or you want my help scaling your info business to those crazy numbers and getting results like this, like the rest of our clients are able to get, then go ahead and click the link in the description right down below. It'll let you book in a call. I'll take a look at your business, find out what the main bottleneck is, help you fix it for free. You'll ask me to pitch you, I'll pitch you, and then from there, we'll see if we want to work together. See you on that call. Goodbye.